Hello, 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 and welcome to something a little bit different from the normal unboxings that I do. Today, what I'm going to do is go over a very basic outline of one of my decks. Yep, I'm going to do a deck overview. Now, why am I doing this? Well, I'm not at all a meta player. I don't follow the meta too closely, but I still enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I like especially a lot of the cards that I'm familiar with from a while ago, so I have been maintaining a couple casual decks over the years, and as I search through the internet for ways to update them, I often found it very, very difficult to, well, determine what I should be using or not. So what I'm going to do here is solve my own problem by throwing my own ideas out onto the internet, and maybe somebody will find them helpful. Just in case somebody wants to build a similar deck to mine. This way, all of my ideas are in one place, as well as ideas from elsewhere that I found useful. So this first one, obviously, is my Barrel Dragon deck. Now, I have maintained a Barrel Dragon deck for the better part of 15 years, and this is the current incarnation of it. So, here we go. Obviously, we've got the namesake, Barrel Dragon, Blowback Dragon, a somewhat smaller Barrel Dragon, Desperado Barrel Dragon, the shiny new model that does a whole bunch of things, Twin Barrel Dragon, the smaller cousin. Level 4, though, you can normal summon this one. And Proton Blast, the fancy new trap card that goes with any monster that likes to flip 3 coins or more. So, or 2 coins or more. So, you know, and any of these Barrel Dragons. Next up, we've got the sort of dark machine cards that go with Barrel Dragons and were obviously designed to work with Desperado Barrel Dragon. I'll go over a few different plays and how these cards actually work later. I'll just basic overview first, you know, get that out of the way. So the BM4 Blast Spider, the smaller cousin to the old Launcher Spider, a very helpful effect monster. Heavy Metal Raiders is the field spell for the deck. It works very well with what the deck tries to do. And let's be honest, you put a card, you name it Heavy Metal Raiders, you feature Slot Machine and Launcher Spider so prominently in the art, yeah, I'm going to use that card. Terraforming, Metaverse, help you get Heavy Metal Raiders more easily. Gearspring Spirit is an addition of my own. I've never seen anybody use this card. Maybe I'm missing something, but I like to think that it's my own original idea. It's a level 8 monster that can special summon itself to the field really easily. Cyberstein, again, used to special summon something relatively easily, but it's also a dark machine like everything else. Gizmek Orochi, the Serpentron Sky Slasher, is really the heart and soul of this deck, if not for the Barrel Dragons. This is an incredibly useful card that does so much stuff. I'll go over it in a bit more detail later. Gearsu, the Orcust Mech Knight. I have never seen any other Barrel Dragon deck online that runs Orcusts, so again, this little Orcust bit, I like to think it's my own addition to the Barrel Dragon fandom. Orcust Nightmare, Orcust Brass Bombard, Orcust Crescendo, all things that go with the Orcusts. My light is a little bright here, but there we go. Black Salvo, of course, a popular card in Dark Machine decks. Works really well. Monster Reborn, Iron Call, these are all cards that you would use to bring stuff back from the graveyard, and there's a lot of stuff that gets sent to the graveyard. Limiter Removal, back in my day this card was limited 1 per deck. It's not anymore, but I think 1 per deck is still enough. You don't need it to win, it's just one way to win. Twin Twisters, solid removal. Upstart Goblin, Allure of Darkness, and Pot of Desires. These are all good card draw cards. Just keep stuff in your hand, you know, because you want to play. And that brings us to the extra deck. So, of course, Gatling Dragon, it wouldn't be a Barrel Dragon deck without one. Barricade Borg Blocker, a couple of Orchists, Galatia, Longirsu, and Orchestrion. Just good Orchist cards, especially these smaller ones. Dingirsu, the Orchist of the Evening Star, is, yeah, also a ludicrously powerful card. It's easy to play in this deck, too, which is the best part. And then number 27, Dreadnought Dreadnoid, solely so that I can play these super Dreadnoughts. We've got the Rail Cannon Gustav Max, Rail Cannon Super Dora, and the Rail Cannon Juggernaut Liebe. Now, why would I use this little suite of Super Dreadnought cards in this deck? Would this deck not be better if I had something that maybe actually went with the deck here instead? Yes. Anyway, moving on. We've also got a few level 7 Synchro monsters because Black Salvo does its job well. Black Rose Dragon, Samurai Destroyer, and Dark Strike Fighter, the only Dark Machine level 7 Synchro that I could find. You'd think there'd be another one, something that they'd print specifically to go with Black Salvo, but you would think incorrectly. So now, what does this deck want to do? Well, let's start with the Barrel Dragons, of course. These two, Barrel Dragon, Blowback Dragon, you kind of just want them in your hand. You can't realistically expect to play these like normal. Where's the... here we go. Heavy Metal Raiders, whenever a Dark Machine-type monster you control would be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed, and it makes that monster bigger. And once per turn, if a monster you control that was originally a Dark Machine destroys a card on the field by card effect, you can special summon a Dark Machine monster from your hand. So this card right here, Heavy Metal Raiders, that is how you want to play Barrel Dragon or Blowback Dragon. Because they're not great to play normally, but to cheat them into play via other means, that's when they're pretty good. Desperado Barrel Dragon doesn't have that problem. It cheats itself into play whenever a Dark Machine monster is destroyed. So hey, that's good. And Twin Barrel Dragon is just something small that you can play. Desperado Dragon also searches for a card that flips coins, like any of the Barrel Dragons, when it dies. So another reason to have Twin Barrel Dragon, you can search something to replace it if it dies. Proton Blast just gives a bit of extra punch to any of your coin flips, and if this is in your graveyard, it makes all your coin flips come up heads. So hey, good stuff there. Heads are always good in coin flips. The BM4 Blast Spider has an effect that's really tailor-made for this sort of deck. You blow up one of your own things, blow up one of your opponent's things, and then you can get Heavy Metal Raiders to go off, get the Desperado Barrel Dragon to go off. It does a lot. And yeah, like I said, these two just get Heavy Metal Raiders into your hand. I considered running 3 of these, but I found that you ended up with it way too often. You'd get duplicates, and you don't really need that. Running this loadout, it's kind of like having 4 Heavy Metal Raiders anyway, so, you know, it works. Now my level 8 suite of monsters here. Gearspring Spirit, you can special summon it if you have a machine in your graveyard, which is easy to do in this deck. That's all about blowing up your machines to special summon other stuff. It also nukes one of your opponent's monsters down to 0 attack until the end of the turn. So it's actually quite useful on its own. Cyberstein is solely to use Gatling Dragon. I tried, I really tried to find a way to use Gatling Dragon legitimately, with polymerization, or power bond, or overload fusion, or what have you. There's just no way to balance the deck properly around that. You have too many barrel dragons and they sit in your hand, or you have just dead cards in your hand all the time. It's no good. Cyberstein, I determined anyway, is the best way to play Gatling Dragon. And Gizmek Orochi, like I said, this card does a lot of things. But for the purposes of this section of the video, you can banish 8 cards from the top of your deck and special summon it during either player's turn. It's a quick effect. Or if you didn't use that effect, you can banish 3 cards from your extra deck to blow something up on the field. A solid card, easy to play, easy to special summon. It's level 8, just like these Gearspring Spirits. And it's a Dark Machine, so it triggers Heavy Metal Raiders. Really good card. Part of me wants to only run 1, because once you have 1 out, it never goes away. But, no, I think you really want 2. So, why does level 8 matter? Well, level 8 matters because you can play Dingirsu legitimately. It's an Excisee, level 8 monsters. You don't need to cheat this into play if you can play it with 2 level 8 monsters that are, you know, probably not doing a whole lot on their own. They've come into play, they've used their effects. What else are they going to do? Well, they're going to build this guy. A little more on that later, though. So, the Orcists. This is, like I said, another of my own additions to the Dark Machine deck, because generally people seem to play a pure Orcist deck, or Orcist and something else. Surprisingly, they don't use the Barrel Dragons. I couldn't imagine why. Anyway, this card right here, it's fairly modern. I think it just came out last year as of me recording this. What it does, you play it, and then you can send an Orcist card from your deck to your graveyard. What do you send? You send this one, because when this one is in your graveyard, let's see, where does it say? Yeah, you can banish this card from your graveyard to put another Dark Machine from your deck to your graveyard. Alright, what are you putting into your graveyard? Well, that is where Gizmek Orochi comes in. Because not only can this be special summoned from your hand, it can be special summoned from your graveyard. So now you've got this in play, you've got this in play, and you can link them together to form one of your little Orcist link monsters, like Galatea. Well, what does she do? She can return one of your banished monsters back to your deck, which you should have one because you had to get it into play to begin with, and then you put the Orcist trap card straight into play, face down. All this stuff just flows together almost as if it was designed that way, you know? There's a couple other link monsters that you could use, but I don't think they're as easy to play, not in this deck anyway, and they don't really get you as much mileage. I mean, you can use them if you got them, but... And then, yeah, once again, that brings us back to wherever Dingirsu went, because instead of playing this card legitimately, you can use an Orcist link monster as a material instead. So you can do all of that stuff and end up with this guy in play, who can stop your cards from being destroyed, or... Oh, this is actually really good. Send one card your opponent controls to the graveyard. You can't target it, doesn't matter. You can't destroy it, doesn't matter. Send it to the graveyard. Very tricky wording there. Strange. I mean, I don't really like it when they word around their own rules like that, but what's done, it's done. That's what the card does. I think it also works quite well with Black Rose Dragon, which is why it's in the deck, because you can put this into play and blow up everything on the field. Except Dingirsu stops your own things from being blown up. So then you're just left with a whole field full of stuff. Hey, not bad. Anyway, that was a brief little overview of my Dark Machine deck. Hopefully, I've inspired one or two budding Barrel Dragon players out there to chase their passion and build a Dark Machine deck. Again, I don't think this is meta. In fact, I know it's not meta. Well, how could it be improved? Hand traps, probably. People seem to like those. Triple Tactics Talent, I wanted a couple of those. Lightning Storm, wanted one of those. And if you've watched any of my unboxing videos, you will know that it was not for a lack of trying that I don't have any. But hey, for now, this is what the deck is. So I hope you enjoyed this little video. I've got a few more deck profiles planned, one more Yu-Gi-Oh! And a whole slew of Magic decks. I've got, yeah, a commander deck for every month of the year and then some, so don't worry about that. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, then yeah, please leave a like, a comment, subscribe. If there's anything else you can think of that would be good in this deck, please let me know. Like I said, I searched the internet high and low for cards that would be good in a Barrel Dragon deck, and through all of my searching, this is the best I could come up with. Maybe this is the best there is. Who knows? Anyway, till next time then, I'll probably do my other Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck before I delve into Magic. So, look forward to that. I don't know when I'll get around to it, but it'll happen. Till then, ta-ta!